Hello, my name is Asia. A little bit about me. I used to serve here with sixth grade. I'm currently a sixth grade middle school teacher in DC. Um, I think children are great. I actually feel more comfortable speaking in front of children than I do adults. I actually think middle and high schoolers, if there was a war, I personally think you guys would solve it and we'd be fine. I personally love children. I think you guys are hilarious. Um, I'll be honest. When I was in middle school, I got kicked out of class a lot. Uh-oh. You believe it. Very good. Thank you. Again, I didn't grow up in church. So my dad practiced Islam. My mom was Christian, but she didn't really make me go to church or anything like that. When I was in high school, I went to Bishop McNamara High School for 2 years. Almost got kicked out my first year. Oh, yeah. I almost got kicked out my first year because I would come to school late and I would talk crazy to the teachers. Okay. Then I decided to be homeschooled, and after I was homeschooled, they skipped me over the 11th grade, and I ended up graduating from Flowers High School. Does anyone go to Flowers? Okay. So this is where I started serving in Unashamed. Now, in Unashamed, I served with sixth grade, as I said, but because I wasn't raised in church, I felt like I had a lot of catching up to do. And because I felt like I had a lot of catching up to do, I felt like I needed to enroll in these classes, and I felt like I needed to learn different languages. I needed to learn Hebrew. I needed to learn Greek. I needed to learn why the Bible was formed because I wasn't raised, and I felt like I was missing out on a lot. So as I started studying, I started getting more tired. I started getting annoyed easily. All of my commitments started to fall by the wayside. I would serve at church, but then I'd be like, no, I have a paper to write. I would go and hang out with my friends, but then I was like, no, I can't. I have a quiz to study for. Basically, I felt like I was out of shape spiritually. Y'all know when y'all go to y'all small groups and you have to walk upstairs and you kind of need to catch your breath a little bit, or when you're walking in the worship center and you think you're in shape and then you're out of breath the minute you get to the second level. That was happening to me, but spiritually. I was tired. I wasn't listening to anything my parents were saying. If anything, I blame my parents. You didn't raise me in church. Now I feel like I got all this catching up to do. I was about to get kicked out of school, a private school that they were paying for. I really didn't know any of the Bible songs. Everybody was singing all these hymnals. I didn't know them. So I felt like I literally needed to enroll in classes, spend my time, tire myself out, despite the fact that I had always been working at a community center and I was just as fine as God created me to be. But I was out of shape spiritually. So I need someone to say, stay in shape. I need you to say it with a little bit more Say, stay in shape. Very good. Now, I have an Instagram profile, Beja the Bible Nerd. I talk a lot about the Bible, but around the time where that came into fruition, I was out of shape. I felt like I needed to study Hebrew. I felt like I needed to study all these languages, pay all this money because I was playing catch up. Now, the reason that I want to talk to you guys today, specifically middle and high school, is because if we are not careful, we can fall out of shape and start doing stuff God did not tell us to do. Simply because we're ignoring everything that God has already put inside of us because we got fear of missing out. Because I wasn't raised in church. Oh, my parents didn't go to church. My parents don't go to church. Oh, I wasn't in Sunbeams. Oh, I go to Unashamed, but my parents don't really make me go to Unashamed, but all my friends go, so now I feel like I got to be at the front, fake worshiping. I saw you. Now, here's what we're going to talk about today. Today, I'm going to offer a danger of falling out of shape. That's what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to give you practical tools on how to start taking inventory of how to stay in shape. There's an acronym that I'm going to give you guys. And by the end of this, you're going to go into your small groups, and I want you to think about these verses that I'm giving you. All of them are in 2 chapters of the Bible. We're only looking in Exodus today. Where are we looking? Exodus. All right. You can go to the next slide. All right, so I want to give some context first before we start diving into the Bible, all right? So we're in chapter 31 of Exodus. Now, at this point, Moses has been up on a mountain. He's been on a mountain for almost 40 days. He's by himself. No one could go with him. Not even his elders, not even the people that he knew, not even his brother, his sister. No one could go with him. While he's on the mountain, God is literally telling him, all right, Moses, this person is going to have this gift. This person is going to have this skill. The reason that they're having this skill is so that they can do what I'm telling them to do. I'm giving them this skill. I'm calling them by name. This is what's happening. All right? Now, let's actually read the verse. You go to the next slide. Exodus 31, verse 1. Then the Lord said to Moses, look, I have specifically chosen Bezalel, son of Uri, grandson of Hur of the tribe of Judah. I have filled him with the Spirit of God, giving him great wisdom, ability, and expertise in all kinds of crafts. Jump down to verse 6. And behold, I myself have appointed with him Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan. And in the hearts of all who are skillful, I have put skill, so that they make everything that I have commanded. What's going on in these verses? God is telling Moses what gifts and skills he has given people for the purpose of God's plan. Now, in any of those verses, do you see anywhere where God says, this skill is better than this skill? Make sure to tell him that. No. Do you see anywhere in these verses where it says, I want them to wait until they're comfortable to use this skill to do what I said? No. Do you see anywhere in this verse where it says you need to wait till they graduate high school until they know how to use this skill? No, you do not see that. God is intentionally trying to partner with humanity to do what he wants to do. And something that I want you guys to understand, I said it earlier, I'm a 6th grade teacher. I love 6th graders. I love children. I think children are brilliant. You do not need to be older to do what God told you to do. That's a lie. Particularly for this generation, I know you guys get a lot of slack. People are always talking about y'all. Oh, they don't listen. Oh, they always on their phone. Oh, their attention span is this. Maybe you're just bored. Maybe no one's ever asked you, what do you like to do? Do you know who's interested in you? The Lord is interested in you. He's given you skills to use. That's what I want us to look at right now. Now, while this is happening, now we have to look at what the people are doing. Remember, Moses is on the mountain getting this information from God. At the same time, the people, the Israelites, are down below. Now we're going to look at what they're doing. How did the people respond? When the people saw how long it was taking Moses to come back down the mountain, they gathered around Aaron. Come on, they said, make us some gods who can lead us. We don't know what happened to this fellow Moses who brought us here from the land of Egypt. The people got up early the next morning to sacrifice burnt offerings and peace offerings. After this, they celebrated with feasting and drinking, and they indulged in pagan revelry. They was being nasty, basically. While God was giving them the gifts and telling Moses, this is what I want them to do. I've given this person in this family line skills to be able to do these things. In modern time, what would this sound like if this were in 2025? I have given this person the skill of singing. I have given this child an eye for aesthetic. This child really knows how to make good content. This child is always hip to the trends on TikTok, but they don't compromise themselves while they do it. God is giving you these gifts, and as he's giving you these gifts, you're like, this is taking too long. I'm about to go do what I'm going to do. We're going to go build ourselves our own gods. I'm going to just make my own platform. I'm going to shape myself into someone who, I'm just going to do what I want to do. Remember, we're thinking about staying in shape here. God is shaping them, and they are taking the same skills that God has given them, and they are crafting idols using the same skills. You want to worship, but You're singing every song but one that speaks well of other people. The same words that you have the charisma, the personality to use, you're talking crazy about other people in the hallway of church. Now, listen, I want you guys to understand something. Because the Israelites focused on how long Moses was taking, they said, y'all, come on, I'm not waiting no more. He brought us here. Obviously, he wants to leave us. We're going to build ourselves our own idol. And Aaron sat there and said, okay, now we're going to sacrifice to it. They gave the credit to something that they made, and the skills that they used weren't even theirs. God gave them that skill, but they didn't know that because they were impatient. And this is something that I want to caution us against, just because it's taking so long. Oh, I didn't make the team yet at school. Basketball team. I made JV instead of varsity. Now I'm not playing sports anymore. Period. I tried out for this show. I didn't make it. Now I'm about to talk trash about the whole department. Why? Now, let's recap, because we just went over a lot of information. Moses on the mountain. He'd been there for a while. In their defense, Moses has been there for a while. I don't know if they had clocks. I don't know if they had watches. I don't know. But it was a while. God is telling Moses, hey, this is how I want to partner with humanity. I'm going to give them this skill. I'm going to give them this ability. I'm going to put it in their heart, and they're going to be able to do everything that I have commanded simply because I said so. They didn't go to school for it. They didn't have to take courses for it. I put it in their heart. They're going to do it. At the same time, meanwhile, the children of Israel are literally crafting an idol using the same skill that God has freely given them because Moses was taking too long. That sounds crazy. They sound dumb. That's it. That's what it is. You take it too long, so I made an idol, and I gave it credit. If you've ever made a joke in class and then somebody else repeated it and got the credit, yeah, I hear, yeah, exactly. Or when you get the right answer and your teacher, all of a sudden, the kid who ain't been listening happens to guess it. They get it right, and now they get all the credit. But you've been sitting there helping the kid the whole time. You don't get the credit. That's how God is feeling. They're giving this handmade thing the credit, and God gave them the skill to make it. Now, in other words, they had fallen out of shape because this had invited corruption into their lives. How do we know it invited corruption? Well, let's look at the text. It says so, right in the Bible. The Lord told Moses, quick, go down the mountain. Your people whom you brought from the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. Imagine God having to stop what he's doing because we're impatient. He was giving them what they wanted, and they were impatient and used it to their own corruption. They had fallen out of shape. Now, this brings me to my first point. I hope y'all taking notes because we got discussion questions. This is my first point. The danger of falling out of shape, we invite our own corruption. Another way to look at the word corruption, injure, spoil, destroy, pervert. You look a mess. And for what? Because we want it to be impatient? Now, I'll give an example of how this looks biblically and how this might look in our own lives. The children of Israel took what God had given them that was good and corrupted it because they did not wait for him, because of what they perceived. Because they had no idea of God's timing, they decided to take it upon themselves. And I want us to understand this. Falling out of shape, it does not look like a major decision. I'm not saying y'all about to leave here and go craft a golden calf. It's small decisions. Very small decisions. In my life, I'll tell you what it looks like. Since I'm coming for y'all, I'll come for myself. In middle school, I was very extroverted. I love people, but there was this one class I literally was not allowed into, social studies. I still got some animosity. I wasn't allowed in social studies because I was talking crazy about the social studies teacher's daughter. The teacher did not like me, and so I would enter the threshold laughing, and I would get turned away every single time. Now, as a teacher, I get it. I do get it. The reason I get it is because I have the ability to control the temperature of a room. If I entered a room as a middle schooler, I was either causing chaos, I was trying to make people laugh, I was getting on my teacher nerves, or I was doing all three at the same time. A lot of you have that same anointing. Now, here's the thing. I don't think there's a such thing as a bad kid. I don't. I just think you're out of shape. I truly think you're out of shape. The reason being is because if it's true that we are made in the image of God, and if it's true that God gives good gifts, and if it's true that God does not lie, then you making everybody laugh and talking while someone's teaching, that's not a bad thing. You just need to get back in shape. You need to get under the Lord. The Lord did not create you to control the temperature of the classroom so that you can distract other people or so that you could be disrespectful. You don't have the ability to make friends or to be introverted and observant so that you could do your own thing. You didn't have the gift of aesthetic and fashion and being able to see color and style just so you could do what you want with that and be dressed in all types of ways and have no regard for what the Lord said about modesty, despite the fact that you know what God said about modesty. I don't believe that because you're young, you cannot understand. I believe that because you are so young, you have a level of understanding that most adults lose in their adulthood. And so I'm pressing y'all because you have gifts. You have abilities. Probably one of you will be a senator in here. Most likely. Like there's a high probability of that. I wouldn't put it past many of you that you're going to be a president. You think I'm being funny, but I'm for real. You have gifts. You can control people's attention. You can catch attention. You're loud. You're quiet. You're funny. That's not just for you. That's not just so you can make fun of people. That's not just so you can bully people with that. All of a sudden, you don't want to speak in front of people anymore because somebody got on your nerves. Now, instead of using the audience that you have to encourage, you're using it to slander. So I need you guys to understand, you're not bad. I don't care how many times you got put out of class. I don't care how many times someone said, you about to stay back. I don't care how many times you failed the class, how many times a teacher said you getting on my nerves. I don't care, because guess what? I was told the exact same thing. I was just out of shape. I'm gonna move on. So our first point, falling out of shape. You invite your own corruption. All right. Now, obviously, we don't just want to stay here. All right, Asia, I get it. I'm out of shape. You said I look a mess. I'm loud. I'm annoying, blah, blah, blah. Now, how do we prevent this? How do we stay in shape? So glad you asked. Next slide, please. Now, I want us to understand that you being an unashamed is a gift. I did not have unashamed. I went one time, I got scared, and I left. And I didn't come back to church consistently until 2017 when I rededicated and I became a youth leader and I was all in. Now, how do you stay in shape? You need to submit to a Moses, a leader who's hearing from God on your behalf on how you can use your gifts. I understand, you have leaders in here. Why they trying to tell me what to do? I don't know them. Oh, no, they're not my parent. Yeah, okay, well, you're here. And so legally, they're your guardians. And they're looking out for you. They care about you. You're important. That's why they be so pressed. When they be going like this, pay attention. They trying to get you to hear something. They're not just saying that to get on your nerves. And I get it. It's hard. You've been in school. This is your last day on Wednesday. Some of y'all, today was your last day. Now you got to come up in here and listen to people talk down to you. No. What you need to understand is that you have so many gifts inside of you that you are not taking full responsibility of because you're just out of shape. And you don't have to wait until you're a certain age to do it. From the moment you were conceived, you had gifts. Now, when you're submitting to a leader, I'll give an example of what this looks like. I submit to Rev and Mama Queen. I submit to Pastor Josh, young adult pastor, and Amber, the young adult director. I submit to them. I'm grown. And I submit to them. Because they tell me, Asia, why are you in seminary for a second master's degree? You just got out of school. You don't need to play catch up. You just loving being in church is enough. Just because your dad isn't Christian, you think you have to go get more information? You don't think the information that God has given you is enough? Do you want people to know you just because you know things? Or do you want them to know that you love people and love God? And I'm the reason that I emphasize the point that I was not always well behaved in school is because I was very smart. But because I often finished the work before my teacher did, I caused havoc in the classroom. A lot of you are not bad. A lot of you, just because you might be failing a class, you're not dumb. You probably just know the answer and you don't feel like you have to try. That's just what it is. Or you feel like I had to help myself. I don't really feel like I should be responsible for this other person. I had to figure it out. Why do you think you had to be the one to figure it out? You don't think that that's a sign for you to start helping people so that they don't have to go through what you did? Would you want someone to have to figure it out by themselves? I need you guys to think about this. Now, I have an acronym for you. Shout out to Pastor or Dr. Bobby Manning. He gave me permission to use this acronym. I'm going to give you some verses for shape. Don't write down all the verses word for word. Because I don't. Write the verses, but don't write them down word for word. Or just take a picture of it. Very good. Now, we're going to stay in Exodus 31. A way to stay in shape is to go through this acronym. This is not a one-time thing. You guys should be doing this whenever you take a new interest. Now the S, what does the S stand for? What does the S stand for? Now, let's look at verse 3. I have filled him with the Spirit of God, giving him great wisdom, ability, and expertise in all kinds of crafts. When you are staying in shape, you're considering what God has already put inside of you. I am naturally good with people. I love students. There's only so much a student can do that would make me so angry. That is a gift, to have a grace for students, to have an understanding for students, to be the one advocating, please just wait, let me figure it out, let me go talk to them. Some of you have a gift of encouraging other people. You're always in a good mood. You're always so cheerful. I saw how you guys were cheering for the graduates. Some of you are really sensitive to other people's feelings. Whenever someone is talking crazy about somebody, you're always the one to be like, I think you need to chill out. That's a gift. Some of you are really smart. There's a lot of money standing up here today with these kinesiology and mechanical Autobot, design. You guys are really smart. That's a gift. Everybody can't do engineering. Everyone can't read as easily as you could pick up a book, you finish it in 2 days. You pick up another book, you put it down in 2 days. Everyone can't understand digital content the way that you do. And I feel the need to say digital content because that's the reality. Some of you are really good at it. Some of you are really good filmmakers and artists and dancers and singers. Some of you are going to be on Broadway. Some of you are going to win Oscars. These are gifts. These are gifts that you have. Don't ignore them. Now, the H, heart and passions. Verse 6, and in the hearts of all who are skillful, I have put skill, so that they may make everything that I have commanded you. Now, does God say that they may make everything that they want? Does it say so that they may make everything that will get them money? That they make everything that will please other people? It says that they may make everything I have commanded you. You have responsibilities that your gifts are the answer to. Some of you are really passionate about helping people. You're really passionate about social justice. You're really passionate about just people. This is how we start to stay in shape. You have to stay attuned to these things because obviously God has said something about it. Abilities, verses 4-5. To create artistic designs for work in gold, in silver, and in bronze, and in the cutting of stones for settings, and in the carving of wood, so that he may work in all kinds of craftsmanship. How many of you guys have abilities where you're like, I didn't really train for this, I just know how to do it? All of you probably should raise your hand. That's a gift. That's not a coincidence. My mom used to, well, she still says it. She says I'm nosy. I just think, I like to call it holy curiosity. I like to find out information about things, and I like to fix the problem. Some of you could be really good at finding out information, and you think that it's a coincidence. The FBI should hire me. Maybe they should. They might need you. Like, don't put it past yourself that because you're in middle school and you're thinking about what you want to do, that it's strange. These are gifts. Personality. I have a star next to this one. Go to chapter 2 very quickly. Aaron said to them, tear off the gold rings which are in the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me. Now, Aaron was supposed to be the mouthpiece of God. Aaron was supposed to be the one who spoke for Moses because Moses was scared and he had a little stutter. So he was like, I can't do it. And God was like, fine, you get on my nerves, Aaron will do it. Aaron took the personality of a leader that God gave him and used it to influence the children of Israel to build an idol and then to make sacrifices to it. This is not unfamiliar to many of us, as many of us will take our leadership skills and we'll be the ringleader in whatever drama's going on. And then like Aaron, where it says, these people made me, you be like, I ain't in it. But you started the group chat. You are a part of it. Just because you lurking, you got a secret Instagram, so don't nobody know it's you. It's you. If you, just think about it for a second. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand because I know, I can sense it because we understand one another. if you're always the one who, even though you're not involved, a leader or a teacher is always looking at you, perhaps you are, in fact, a leader. You're just out of shape. These are not bad things. You being able to control a room, you being able to make people laugh, you talking too much, those are not, well, sometimes we do talk too much. I'm guilty. These are not inherently bad things. These are not bad things. You are not bad. You are not bad children. Just because you be getting on people's nerves, everybody gets on everybody's nerves. You're not bad. You don't have bad gifts. You're not a bad seed. You're not corrupting anyone. You are simply out of shape. So get under a Moses. Submit to your leader. Get back in shape. You're not incapable of doing that. What, just because you're 11 years old? Oh, I'm just a kid. Yeah, whatever. Get in shape. Because as soon as they take that phone, all of a sudden, you want to get them grades up. Get in shape. You will be okay. I told you I'm a 6th grade teacher. All right, the last one, experiences. Verse 5, to create artistic designs for work in gold, in silver, and in bronze, and in the cutting of stones for settings and the carving of wood, so that he may work in all kinds of craftsmanship. The experiences that you have now contribute to your shape. I was raised around educators. The community center right across the street, I worked there for about 12 years around children. Now I'm a school teacher. I teach little toddler ballet on the weekends. Now they're bad. Okay? They're crazy. I love being around students. They're so smart. You guys are so smart. You're so capable of doing so many things. There's so many things I don't know. And then a student will say something, and I'm like, I had no idea that existed. What are you saying to me? The way that you guys can foresee trends before they happen, that's prophecy. The way that you guys can understand situations before a word is spoken, that's discernment. You have the gifts of God. You just need to get in shape so that you can understand the gifts of God and use them according to how he has commanded you to use them. Had I stayed in seminary and had I stayed learning all these different languages, I would have sat up here giving you biblical languages, not only that you didn't care about, but that you didn't understand, all in the name of being smart, all in the name of saying, I have 2 master's degrees. All in the name of saying, I wasn't raised in church, but I caught up in school. Who cares? Literally, who cares? You guys have experiences that are important, that matter. You're going home to experiences. You came here to an experience. All of that is important to your shape. God has given you these experiences for a reason. He didn't just give them to you so that you can pass them off. These are important things. Some of you have witnessed things. You have endured things already, and you're so young. These are important things to your shape. These are all very important things. Had I not been raised in a household where my mother really didn't press church or my dad wasn't Muslim, had I not been raised in that setting, I would have no grace for non-believers. I would risk looking at a Muslim and being like, straight to hell. Easily. Had I not been raised and protected prior to my father's sobriety, had I not been raised by an alcoholic, I probably wouldn't have grace for people on drugs. I probably wouldn't have a care in the world for people on drugs. But all of my experiences, being around children at such a young age who are going through the exact same things, having to go to therapy I was in therapy before, it was really cool. When I was 16 years old, that's 12 years ago. I'm 28. Had I not had that experience, I would have no grace for people who come up here and say, I was just diagnosed with anxiety disorder. I was just diagnosed with depression. I'm sad all the time. I would have no grace. My experiences contribute to that. That adds to why I care about people. All of you have experiences that are important. Don't brush them off. If you don't remember anything that I say, remember that I'm telling you that you currently have gifts and they are necessary. There is not anything that the Lord has put inside of you that is unnecessary. I don't care who says it. I don't care who says it. You're necessary. You are important. You have gifts from God. God, are you hearing what I'm saying? God. Big G. You have gifts from him. Who are you to tell him otherwise? Now, my last point is for us to consider something. You can go to the next slide. I would like us to just think about how many more people who are literally in need would have their needs met if we stayed in shape. Now, I'm talking to both the kids and the leaders. Because Reverend Andre said something prior to the students getting in here. He said, we ought to just be obedient to God just because he said so. That applies. Like, you're not too young. What, because you're 11? You're gifted. Like, you're important. You're very skilled. Oh, because you're 16? You don't have your diploma yet? Yeah, whatever. You're super gifted. You can use that in class. Oh, well, I don't know if I'm going to graduate. I might have to go to summer school. And you're still gifted. Oh, well, I failed this class. You're still gifted. Like, there's nothing you can do that would take away from the gifts that you have. You're gifted, point blank, period. You have a gift. You have a shape. Stay in shape. And if we stay in shape, people who are in need, who don't know their shape, who are out of shape, can also be brought back into shape. It's going to take all of us. It can't just be one person here, another person decides to be disobedient. No. All of us need to stay in shape. And as we close, I want us to remember that, number one, this is not a one-time exercise. This is not something you do when you're 11 and then you don't look at it again. I say this again. Even as middle schoolers, as high schoolers, you have the ability to think through the things of God. You have the ability to understand God's word. You're not too young to understand God's word. Jesus was 12 when he told Joseph, I'm at my father's house. 12. He grew into the man of God. He stayed in shape. We need to model that. You are not too young. You are not incapable. You're just out of shape. Now, if any of you are feeling how I would assume, you're like, okay, well, I've been out of shape for a little bit. I really didn't take my classes seriously this year. I'm probably about to be in summer school. I should have a summer job. I should have an internship because I told whoever I was going to apply, but now the application's closed. I was going to work at Six Flags, but they closing. Now I don't know what to do with myself. Might I suggest you ask Jesus for forgiveness and get back in shape? None of this can happen. You cannot form yourself You cannot shape yourself. Had I tried to shape myself, I would not be here. You cannot shape yourselves. The Lord has to shape you. Get in shape.